In one of the fairest tests ever conceived in the history of mankind, we have a battle of two very similarly priced objects, similar focal lengths. Which will win?
All I want is the perfect camera. All I want is the perfect camera.
So before revealing them to you, is there one that is like, yep, that's my guy? Left or right? Which one is happier for you? Which one's giving you the feeling like, whoa, the cinema, there's a movie, and the other's like, oh God, clinical nightmares. We have the Fuji X-H2S on your right. That always backward mind F's me. It's like going to an MK Ultra session. It hurts every time. Fuji X-H2S with the 23mm 1.4 versus the Nikon ZR with the 40mm Tony 2. Both have a glimmer glass and a black pro mist. So that's obviously, you can't both have two separate things. I see what my brain did there, but we have a stupid ass light, bright as hell to test highlight roll off and tunnel lights for the autofocus technology. Okay, and the first user error mishaps of the episode. I was in 4K RAW on the Nikon by mistake. Oh boy, so now we're both in 6K, Fuji's 6K open gate, not RAW. I found that the Nikon ZR only looks good in 6K, and that's what you have to shoot it in. So ask yourself if you're okay with red raw 6K file sizes. The answer is no. I just made 2 videos on this camera, 288 gigabytes for those, just 2 bullshit talking head videos. Whereas Fuji, you have choices, you have options, you can shoot. We all have options, but come on, man, this is manageable. You're not managed by anyone. So first, have we proven that one has better dynamic range, roll off here, these finger things? Like, are you seeing one light is more pleasing? The problem is, it's hard to expose. All right, I want to see what the 4K looks like side by side, then we'll go outside for a little 3D pop test. But first, autofocus. Who wins your heart? Fuji is more stepping. I feel like it's more accurate though. Nikon will overshoot every time. You can tell those Tony balls just, it's like nose first, then the eyes, ear first, then the eyes. Whereas Fuji, it's choppy, but it gets you. Okay, now we're in DCI 4K for Fuji, something Nikon can't do, thank you for nothing. And Nikon's in the H.265 4K normal file sizes. So these are both about like the minimal you need. And I find the Nikon is as bad as people say, but it's a soft, pleasing touch, is it not? Don't quote me on this exposure, because all the zebras change. When you're in red raw, you have a certain zebra that works, and then, okay, now I'm in N-Log. Oh, who knows how to expose? So looks underexposed. It's a problem. It's a big problem. So you got to change your zebra settings for each time you want it, and you got to write them down, because that's not going to work in a custom mode, probably. But for talking head stuff like this, both totally overkill, but in my experience, just doing this, I think I prefer the Fuji. It just, I like the Fuji look better, and it's more humble, even though it's like only $100 less, I think. Still, somehow, Fuji retains value, and I appreciate that. So does Sony. Like, they're still the same price. So when you buy a Sony or a Fuji, years later, you're switching out, you're not gonna lose much. It retains the value, whereas Nikon and Canon plummet. Like 6 months later, it's like, oh my God, that's $900 off. Why was it so high initially? Makes no sense whatsoever, but whatever. Did you prefer one to the other? Now let's go outside and talk about the actual pros and cons of each system, which you should choose. Do my affiliate link. Now when it comes to vlogging, there's a couple advantages actually for the full frame Nicky Boy that we're on right now. Stop it. So you're lighter, you have better stabilization, and you're cheaper. Like, there's a lot of like, what the hell? Fuji's still charging that much, and they're heavy, and they're a crop. Yeah, I actually bought this to vlog with. We're in red raw, of course, manually exposing by force and gunpoint. That's a pain. It's not the best stabe in the business, but it's serviceable. And if you really want good stabe, you go into H.265, put your digital crop on there, and it's like gimbal level. So there's options. You could do much worse. Now when it comes to Fuji for vlogging, it's less stable. It's not as good. I don't have an equivalent lens, I'm sorry, but if I would have got the 16mm, you could. And I could be totally happy with just Fuji, but for vlogging, it's your one weak spot where your stability is just not great. I blurred out your background. Take that, you can't have it back. But we're both in 4K. He's in Red RAW, I'm just in normal F-Log2C. I have the better mic jack. I can flip my screen around. And one advantage for the Nikon is 32-bit float, but the preamps are hissier than the Fuji or any camera on Earth. So I don't see how that's an advantage. You plug in your lav mic and it's like, yay. Huh? Okay. I have notes. I wrote some stuff down. I have questions, some answers as well. So basically I wrote a pro and con list of each, like the Fuji advantages, the Nikon advantage. I'm way too low in the shot. So right now we are in 6K RAW for the red Nikon Life and 6.2K open gate for Fuji. So this is the comparison of the century right now. 23mm popping lens versus 40mm Tony-2, equivalents out the yin-yang, price almost identical, the fairest comparison. We're not going to get anybody down there saying, you should have compared to this lens, bro. So first advantage for Nikon might be the Red RAW. So you get 6K 60 Red RAW, probably a lot more flexible to grade with. The dynamic range, it's okay. Probably the worst day for this, but I find grading the Fuji is zero problems. Even though it's not RAW, it often looks better anyway. Like, it's just very flexible, that F-Log2C, beautiful conundrums. But does one of them have better snow roll-off right now? I'm not really sure. It's a terrible dynamic range test, but I still feel in my heart that Fuji has more. When it comes to autofocus, I gotta give the advantage to Nikon, obviously, because you can actually use it for slow motion street videography where you're skateboarding down a street and you just have to lock onto a person, it'll track them fine. Fuji cannot do that at all. But when you do set it to manual focus, it looks beautiful anyway, so like they're both good at that, but autofocus is Nikon, but they're basically good enough. If you don't have the ton of lights in the background, you're not going to notice a difference really. It's just Fuji is very lens dependent. You got to get the right one that's confident. This one seems to be. When it comes to lenses, it's almost a wash. There's basically like 5 amazing lenses for each system, and it's all the old Fuji primes, 16mm 1.4, 18mm Tony-2. Forgot that in my last video. This one, 23mm 1.4, 35 1.4, 56 1.2, but that one will never autofocus. Whereas Nicky Boy has like, they're not as fast primes. They're not as good. 26, 2.8, 28, 2.8, 35 1.4, 40mm Tony-2, 50mm 1.4. Those lenses all have some pop. Is that a hawk? It's a seagull. It's a great white wizard seagull. But Nikon can adapt a lot more lenses, even mirrorless mounts. Like, it's the most adaptable of all systems. It just works better, but Fuji can speed boost Canon EF lenses, so you can do some stuff, but come on now. You're not using Sony E-mount lenses like you ever would want to. When it comes to low light, don't quote me on this. I tried to match the settings perfectly, even though this is APS-C, that's full frame. We're at 1/50th of a shutter, Tony-2. ISO 6400, that's Nikon's second base. Fuji doesn't have a second base, so if you were doing this, this is what that would look like, identical settings. Who has more noise in the shadows? And if that wasn't fair to you, this surely will be worse, but I wide opened the Fuji to 1.4. We're both at 12,800 ISO. Seems, I don't know, one better? So like, oh no, low light Fuji. And now we're in Fuji's mic jack. Was it less hissy than that last loser bitch with 32-bit floating loser shit? We are now in 4K Red RAW for you and just regular 4K for you. One advantage to the Fuji, you can do DCI 4K. Nikon doesn't even let you do it. Why? So I'm not doing that now just to keep the framing exact, identical perfection as we're witnessing right now. So, oh God, there's snow on my ankles. When it comes to wildlife, Nikon cannot be beat if you're willing to carry and pay for those lenses. The 800mm 6.3 would probably be better than my 500mm 5.6. I got to be honest with you, but it's so much heavier and so much more expensive. Is it really apples to peanuts technology? No, it's not. So I would have to give the edge to Fuji in the lens selection and weight, because they got the 150 to 600, way more reach you're getting on the Fuji, but Nikon would have better autofocus, animal eye tracking. You could debate doing like red raw 6K 60 red raw penguins or something. You imagine that life? But now it's time for the things that most people would not think about. The advantages of Fuji over Nikon. Zebras and peaking, you can see them at the same time. That's really nice. Whereas on Nicky Boy, you have to choose one or the other, so you're always diving into menus, turning things off, no peaking in red raw with the view assist light on. Like, there's a lot of quirks, you quirky twerk, frickin' annoying. Fuji can punch into focus while recording, but there's a quirk with it I've just discovered. I was wondering why it wasn't working when I tried it. You have to be in manual focus to do it. So like Fuji has this thing where you just start manually focusing and you're in manual focus, but then you can't punch in because it's still in autofocus, but you overrode it. So like it's really annoying and you can't change it while recording. Manual focus to AF, so that's a bitch. But if you go into manual, you can punch in and you can see yourself. But Nikon is full frame. You're full frame. Like, come on now. And you're lighter. And $100 cheaper. Makes no sense whatsoever. And like that 40mm Tony 2 lens is nothing. It cost literally nothing. And even used, this was way more. This 23mm. So like, what the heck? When it comes to frame rates, it's interesting. We have 6K 60 RAW on the Nikon versus 6.2K, only 30p, but open gate. So like, what do you value more, the RAW and slightly slow-mo or the open gate vertical hell advertisements for diapers? When it comes to the 4K 120, Nikon is a 50% crop, Fuji's a 29%. And then HD 240, Fuji's a whopping 38% crop, and Nikon's only 5%. So which do you value more? For wildlife, I don't mind the crops, but Nikon will look cleaner, but that H.265 is pretty cripple hammered. So it's like, I don't know, man. They both have the frame rates, slight edge to Nikon, I would say. Fuji also has an actual grip that you could actually hold the camera by, whereas Nikon, whatever, man. For me, it's always going to be on a tripod. I don't personally care that much, but picking it up every time, I'm just like, God, this thing is awkward. So Fuji's just has more buttons, a lot more dials, customizability, 7 custom modes, that's nice, and a recall button. They both have this, no, you're not the Z6 III. You don't have the left-handed swing dial. But like to change, you have to like press a button, touch screen some stuff. It's not right. Whereas Fuji, you can either move the dial or one button switching between 2. That's enough. Now don't quote me on Fuji having more battery life, but I think that Fuji has more battery life. Nikon has a giant 4-inch screen, Fuji not so much. Right now, from this distance, they look about the damn same. I can't see a damn thing. I can tell I'm somewhat in the shot. The Nikon's a lot dimmer for some reason. Maybe that's due to me dimming it, but don't guarantee it. Nikon has a photo video switch. Fuji does not. Whatever, you have to use the custom dial thing. You could like that, but who would ever take a photo with a cinema cam? That's blasphemy. You can do higher shutter on the Nikon. I forget what the number is, but it's like 1/16,000 or something, whereas Fuji caps out at 8,000. Oh, you shouldn't be doing this to us. Why? Shut your mouth. We're doing it, and sometimes you need to do it. Here's a test you didn't know you needed in your life. We're now in 4K H.265, basic, standard color science for both, auto-exposing in aperture priority like professionals would do. Vlogging professionals. So like one should have different color science. Like now we're seeing the real Fuji and Nikon color science. The framing's completely off, as always. All right, last couple of pros and cons of each. Obviously, Fuji has a viewfinder, so you could do this for wildlife. If you want the Z6 III, it's almost the same camera, so okay, but then your weight advantage goes out the window. Fuji has a normal turning mount that's not anti-gravity. With your Nikon every day, just taking the lens caps off, it's not righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. I lose my mind. It's the dumbest thing. Why didn't you fix that with the Z mount? You had the opportunity. There's no patent preventing you from it. If anything, Red probably owns that patent and you bought them. That will be the death of my life. The CF Express card slot is in the bottom battery door of the Nikon. Slightly annoying at times. I am bothered by it. One advantage with Fuji is they have all the cool film sims, but now that they have the LUTs, you can pretty much just use those on the Nikon as well. So, I don't know, advantage out the window. They might even look better with Red RAW. That's painful, but overall, they're both sweet. I love them both. Somewhat hate the Nikon a little bit more, but I'm getting used to it. The first week was pretty painful, but the way I'm leaning right now is probably to keep them both, and we're pretty happy. We're happy enough. So it's like, what do you think? Who won the battle today? What was your favorite codec? Am I exposed in either of them? Are there affiliate links down somewhere? Are you searching for them? Are you clicking on stuff? Am I still in focus on any of these? Is there 3D pop out the yin-yang? Is there dogs behind me? There's none. Thank you for your Bitcoin. Subscribe for my... I can see Fuji's tally light. Can't see Nikon's. Can't see it. Sony autofocus.